There we go. Thank you for those who were able to attend to the live webinar. And for those who can't and are watching this later, I do appreciate it. We had just shy of 20 register, which I am very happy with. As long as you learn something from my webinars, then I feel good about it. We are going to be doing monthly webinars, September, October, November, probably not December, just because I do mine later in the month. And then we get into the holidays. And actually next month, I'm going to be getting Sam, who is our co-op student with Laurier University, to do a webinar. I thought this would be a really great experience for him to take a stab at. So stay tuned for that. Okay, today we're talking about how to boost your website traffic. This is an ongoing conversation with people who made their own site or had someone else make it, or even sites I make. They get a site, like, okay, well, people aren't going to it. I'm not getting orders. I'm not getting bookings. Well, you have to market it. So this is what we're going to chat about today. And I always relate this to a house. I relate my websites to houses. When I talk about domain hosting and a website, I relate it to a house. So same kind of thing. When you have a house, you move in, you want people to come over. Well, you got to invite them. You got to tell them where you live. You got to invite them over. So I think that is very similar to when you have a website. Okay, so some housekeeping. We're a small group today, so if you want to leave your videos on, you can. If you want to leave your microphone on, you can, unless there's some background noise, then mute it, but that's up to you. I started putting this in when we had like 25 people come to the live one, then it can get a little tough for people's streaming to keep up with my video, their video, my voice, all that kind of stuff in the screen share. But we're a small group today, so you're more than welcome to keep that all on if you want, or keep it all off. I'm going to find a different spot for my chat here so it doesn't block everything I say. Okay. So in the chat, I like to pull in the chat quite a bit. So if you have any questions along the way, put them in there. I do have it open up the whole time. There'll be room for more questions and answers at the end, but I'd love to get to know you a bit more and what your current situation is. Do you currently have a website? Throw the URL in there. I can always take a peek. What was your website created in? Are you, so that's Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, possibly WordPress? How long have you had your site for? And what's your biggest struggle right now with your website? And for those who are coming say with a resource center, or you help people with their websites, if you have a question today, what was the main reason you joined this? Is there a common issue you find with people when it comes to their websites? And I'll see if today we can cover it all. But I'll leave that on there for another minute. But if you feel comfortable putting a little bit of information in there, I know we're a small group today, so it might not happen, but it just helps me see where our live attendees are currently at when it comes to the topic I will be talking about. So a little bit about me. I'll continue on. You can still put that in the chat. No worries at all. I think most of you who are here today know me, but let's go over it anyways. So I moved to BC, from BC to Ontario in early March of 2020. So I have been in Brantford now for over 2 years. That went by fast. In our last community, I had already moved by this time. So I'm glad that we're not moving again. So we've been here over 2 years. I'm in West Brant. My husband's from Brantford. His parents live in Brantford, and so do the grandparents. I've been in business for over 17 years. This past August was my 17th year in business. That is crazy. I had my business before I met my husband, before kids. I actually started my business when I was 18 years old. So just after high school. I specialize in marketing, web, and graphics. And right now, what we're trying to focus on when it comes to what we offer, People can come to us for their WordPress website. We can create a site, a redesign, add on e-commerce, SEO. We can help them with their branding through that process. We also can be your whole marketing department. We actually have a couple clients right now where we are their whole marketing department. It doesn't always work for businesses all sizes to have a full-time in-house marketing person. So we are available at a 3-month minimum. We could be seasonally, we could be longer than 3 months, or we could be ongoing. We can kind of just fill in those blanks. And then we can also help completely manage your social media. And that's a 3-month minimum too. So we actually have a handful of clients with social media. We have 2 full-on marketing department clients. And right now we're trying to wrap up about 6 websites. My education background is in marketing management and web development. So I am a coder. That's why I love working in WordPress, because I can code. It is our playground. I'm a busy mom to 3 kids who have already been home and sick more than once since starting school. Bless my heart. So my oldest is 10. I have a almost 7-year-old. In a couple of weeks, she'll be 7. We're planning her birthday. And the youngest is 5. So all of them are in school, but yes, they've already been homesick. It's never ending. I really love teaching and sharing the knowledge. That is why I do these free webinars. I've been doing this for 17 years. I have so much info, and I don't like to hoard it. Why? What's the purpose of that? I love to share the knowledge. I love to give people some skills and teaching so they know how to, manage their own site and manage their social when we're done, or manage their marketing once we're done. If they really only want to do a 3-month minimum, and we help them set up in a way that they can continue it on. So when it comes to teaching, I've taught at 2 colleges in British Columbia. I just finished teaching with Conestoga College in the winter. And then we do a lot of webinars with the BRC, the Brantford Resource Center. We've done over 10 webinars. And actually next week, I am a guest speaker with Stanford University. They are putting on a virtual conference, and I'm going to be talking about Google Ads for Dummies. And then the week after that, I'm going to be doing a Google business listing webinar with Laurier Launchpad Brantford. But I really do enjoy them. So if you ever are part of something where you need a guest speaker, or you want to put on your own webinar and bring in a guest, I would love to chat, because I really do love sharing all this stuff I've been doing. So let's get to what we're here for. Now that my little blurbage and intro is done. Why more traffic? Why is it important? Why do we need it? And then we're going to talk about how. So website traffic is both an important indicator and driver of business growth. It can help you to see how well your marketing is working. I use analytics to see, are we getting spikes with that email we sent out? Are people going to our site from that email newsletter? Was there any social media posts that really got people to our site, and so on? So it really helps us track what is working and not. Gather insights about your audience to make decisions with Google Analytics, and also our stats or insights with our social media. We can see age, male, female, where they live, to help you hone in on that customer persona, but then also, does that align with who you're actually targeting? Improve your SEO, so search engine optimization and search engine credibility, and generate more leads, increase conversions, get more customers. Achieving these requires driving traffic to your website the right way. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to just look at the chat here. I've seen some people put some stuff in. Thank you. I know you can't see it. There we go. I'm trying to make the box bigger. My mouse doesn't want to work today. Nope, we weren't there. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have Jamie, website with her hub's business. She's put that in there. So always take a look too of what other people put in. She says she has a parking page on WordPress for a couple months. So she's having issues proceeding and moving forward with the site. And there's Natalie. She works with the Business Resource Center, the BRC. And we have Cassie. She works with Aspire, CPA firm in Invermere, which is where I lived before. And their website's in there too. We have Teresa. She's with the BRC. She's the Digital Main Street Digital Main Street. And so she's dealing with most clients in Digital Main Street who struggle with e-commerce. Yes. All right. So thank you for putting those in there. And as things pop up, throw them in there. Yes, I might say, oh, hey, I'm going to, insert out the next slide, but please put them in there. I love my stats. 94% of first impressions relate to your site's web design. And I have these conversations all the time. I've been doing websites for almost those whole 17 years. And so I've built hundreds of websites, and I've seen it all. I recently just created a new WordPress site for someone who still had an HTML CSS website, which those are really, really old. I didn't think those were still around, but they are. And so this is really important because it's true. When they go to your website, they are judging what they see, regardless of how great the business is, how long the business has been around, if the website is slow or it doesn't look up to date or it's old information. There's so many things. You are being judged on it. And then they will relate that type of business or the credibility of the business, so that the expert, in the business, the trust of the business based on the website. So it's really important that the website looks great, is professional, it goes in line with your branding, the type of business you are, and who you're targeting, because we are being judged. But we are all guilty that when we get too busy, the website kind of gets to the back burner. I'm guilty of that too. So there's free traffic and versus quality traffic. So we're going to dive a little bit into that. Traffic to your website helps to improve your rank, which in turn generates more traffic. But you want to make sure that the increase in traffic is associated with an increase in engagement as well. If your traffic is increasing, but your conversion rates are decreasing, you're not bringing in the right traffic. And we can relate this to Instagram, right? We can have like 5,000 followers, but if no one ever engages or comments or interacts or anything, those aren't quality followers. You can have about 1,000 followers, and let's say a good chunk of them will share or comment or like or engage. Those are great. Those do more good for you than a higher number where you hardly get any likes or any follows or any shares or an engagement. And it works for our website too. We want to make sure that the traffic we're sending to our site is working, is turning into something. Because higher traffic doesn't always turn into sales or bookings or products being bought. It's going to move my chat down a little bit so I can see all of the words. There we go. There is a number of ways to optimize your website for conversion. So conversion would be what your what is the goal of the site. So first, what is your goal with the site? So for me, I'm a lead generation type business. My website, my goal is to have them fill out my request a quote form. That is my lead generation form. That is my goal. Where some people, their goal might be to purchase a product or sign up for an email newsletter. There's a lot of different goals with the site. So for example, my conversion would be when they fill out that form and then actually turn into a client, such as including calls to action, lead capture forms in the right places, providing the information your visitors are seeking, and making navigation easy and intuitive. But the first step is to be attracting the right visitors to your site in the first place. Your goal when it comes to website traffic is to be driving more qualified visitors to your site. Once again, if you have any questions, if you're kind of like, hey, what does that mean? Or explain that more, or an example, or if you even like, yes, I totally hear you. Here's my example. I love hearing those. 74% of users are more likely to return to mobile-friendly websites. So as we know, mobile-friendly websites are incredibly important. Any site I make for someone, it has to be mobile-friendly, and they are, but we utilize the Google Analytics so that they can see, let's say after a month or 3 months of their website being live, look at those stats. how are people coming to our site? Are they coming on a desktop, which would also be like a laptop? Are they coming tablet? The percentage for tablets are pretty low now. Or are they coming on mobile? Because say if 80% of your website visitors in that month are coming on mobile, then you want to really go back and actually go on the site via mobile, maybe get some other people to go on the site via mobile who don't know your business to review it, to make sure it is as great as possible, user-friendly as possible, so that you can hone in on that. Same kind of thing, let's say 80% are coming on desktop. Okay, let's make sure it's really good on desktop. You want it to work on both, but you do want to put more time and effort to the device they're coming on more. And right now, the higher percentage is with mobile. Even for professional type lawyer industry clients, we find that their percentage is still quite high. So I'd be interested for Aspire as a CPA, their website visits, are they mostly mobile or are they a mix? Because there's some industries where it's very obvious that, okay, they're going to be a mobile. I have a client right now, Little Local. She's a children's store in Delhi, Ontario. So yes, a lot of her website visits are mobile because it's moms and women, possibly grandmas, birthday gifts. And so her website visits are high for mobile, but it doesn't always mean every website is high on mobile. But we need to make sure that your website works really well on mobile. When I lived in Invermere, I worked with Copper Point Resort as their sales and marketing manager. And when I first started, I, got on the Google Analytics. I could, do a little backtracking to see what's going on as I just started there. And their Google Analytics said that most of their visits came through mobile. I think it was between 60 and 70% of their website visitors were on mobile. I was like, okay, so I'm going to the site on my mobile, and you couldn't even book. It was horrible on mobile. And I was like, oh my God, can you imagine the amount of revenue or the amount of bookings for this resort that are not going through because your website is not mobile friendly? So that became one of our focus. One of our main goals while I worked there is update the website so that's also mobile friendly, because you're missing out on opportunities and potential there. So Cassie says, I would guess as our clients are mainly busy business owners, we are probably more searched for on the go. Right. Yeah. And yes, but probably 3 or 5 years ago, industries like, CPAs and lawyers and realtors, it might have been more like pretty close to almost 50-50 with mobile and desktop. But I think now, yeah, they're on the go. Even realtors, like most of them are working from home now. The pandemic really did shift how a lot of those corporate professional industries work and where they work from and their tools. Quality traffic channels. There isn't one set it and forget it tool that generates free and high quality website traffic to your website. Rather, there exists a mix of channels that work together to drive visitors. Some require effort, some require time, and some require money. I would love if they were all free. Some of the strategies and channels that drive traffic to your website include online directory listings. I still use this because my husband was our CMP for 12 years. We moved around. And even though I had my business, especially at that point, 10 to 15 years, I still had to basically relaunch my business to that new community I was living in. And so I would utilize online directories, especially chamber directories, because their page rank would be way higher than mine. And so I would utilize, especially for the area. So I would utilize the chamber directories. I'd always join the chamber, get my business listed on there. And that would help when someone was doing, like web design, say Brantford or Invermere, those kind of local searches. That listing on the directory for the chamber would come higher than my site, because it would take time to change my site's SEO from my previous community to the new one. And so online directories would also could be, Yelp, Yellow Pages kind of thing. And sometimes communities have their own directories too. So here in Brantford, we have like Shop Local Brantford. So that's when I got on when I moved here, just to help with that. So there might be, global directories like Yelp, Yellow Pages, that kind of thing. Then there's chamber directories. And then sometimes there's community focused directories. On-page SEO. So when I talk about on-page SEO, your titles, your content, your alt image tags, stuff on your actual website. And then we have off-page website, and that would be backlinks to your site and other things like that. On-page SEO, there's a lot you can do there. Like I said, there's the titles, there's the site title, your page titles, your content, descriptions and metas of each page. There's the alt text. We're off-page SEO. The main thing with Google right now is backlinks. The listings or guest blogging on other people's sites that backlink to your site. One key thing with the backlinks is you don't want it to go just all to the home page. So I'm a prime example. When I create people's websites, my business goes at the very bottom of their site and it's clickable back to my site. I make them all to my darn homepage, and really I shouldn't. I should be spreading those out to say maybe my web design services page, right? We want the backlinks to also go into our inner pages, so about, contact, that kind of thing, and not all go to our homepage. We have to spread it out. Email marketing. I still ask businesses to this day, like, are you utilizing your email marketing? Do you have an email list? Are you sending just something out monthly? And well, I tried it and it didn't work. Okay, but you got to keep going. Same with our social media. But email marketing can really help. It's another way to stay in touch with current, past, future clients, right? Or customers or followers. And not everyone is going to follow you on Instagram, like your page on Facebook, connect you on LinkedIn, and sign up for your email list. Some people have preferences. So it's just another avenue. Your social media is an avenue, your email marketing is an avenue, your SEO is an avenue to get people to your site. So for those who are not using email marketing, don't throw it out the window because there's a lot of potential with it. You just have to actually utilize it and integrate it. I use MailChimp, but not the free version, and I integrate it into everything. Once I left that free version, I did a paid version with MailChimp. I can connect it to my QuickBooks, my WordPress website, my forms on my website, and then I can add in like a tag so that if in the future I want to send out an email just to people who filled out that form, I can. Where else is my WordPress integrated with? My Stripe. Really a lot of things. It's fantastic. My e-commerce part of my website where people can, purchase some things through my site. Social media. So social media is another channel. It is free. It takes a lot of time. We have a lot of social media clients right now where they're like, just manage my whole social media for me. I don't have time for this, because we do put a marketing strategy behind it. We don't just post on the fly. It's like, okay, what do you want to promote next month? What's really something you have to push next month? Is there any events you're part of? Have you recently won any awards, any projects, any new partnerships? We ask all those questions so that we can put the madness into their marketing for their search and for their social media. The more you can plan out your social media, the more it's going to have a strategy behind it and be more successful. Online ads, so that your Google ads and your social media ads, and blogging. Google wants you to blog. They want that new fresh content on a consistent basis. And so blogging is a huge thing with many businesses that can utilize it in different ways. It could be case studies. It could be a blog post about a project you just finished, or it could be expert stuff, tips, resources. I think that's how I utilize my blog mostly, is just sharing tips and resources and like an education piece. So that's some of the quality traffic channels. I know there's a lot. So you just spend 88% more time on pages with videos. As we've been hearing really in the last couple of years, video. And for a lot of us, it's out of our comfort zone. For even my own social media, I do videos, but I could be utilizing lives more. And I say more, but I'm like, I haven't done any lives. So we could be utilizing videos more. And so I try to use my YouTube. I have one blog post on my website where I talk about the 5 key questions to ask a web designer. And I took one of those 5 and turned it into a YouTube video. And really, I should take the other ones and make those all YouTube videos. One thing with YouTube videos in general is you can cut that up. So it could be on your YouTube, you can embed it on your website, you can cut it up a bit where it's short little social media videos. There's a lot of ways to utilize one video into several different ways of your marketing, also in your email newsletter. So there are some free ways to increase your website traffic. And if you've attended any of my other webinars, some of these are in my other webinars. So if you go to my website, claritydesigns.ca, and you hover over webinars in the menu, you'll see the last 4 that we did. We did January, February, March, April. We did an SEO one. We did a MailChimp one. We did a WordPress one and a social media one. So a lot of these do get tied into my other webinars. I do have a Google Business Listing one, but they've been done through Laurier Women's Entrepreneurship Center and the BRC. And that's also going to be an upcoming one with the Laurier Launchpad, but I should do that one on my own too, because it's a very popular one. So Google Business Listing, it is free and it ties in with Google and the search engine. So definitely have one, keep it up to date and optimize it. A basic listing and an optimized listing is different. So if you created one and you did enough just to get the verification, go back in and go into like the info area and fill out everything that should be in there. And also utilizing the Google Business Listing to receive reviews. So I don't have reviews open on my Facebook page. For public reviews, I just have it through my Google Business Listing. But it is limiting that if they don't have a Google account, they can't leave a review. So I do still get some via email, and I always let them know that I'm going to use it in my marketing, my social media, that kind of thing. On page SEO, so we talked about that. You can do it yourself depending on the type of website you have. With WordPress, it's a plugin. You just have to know what you're doing. So yes, technically it can be free. But a lot of people do find people like me or other agencies to help them with that. But there's lots of online resources to learn more of how to do your own SEO. A YouTube channel that is really great is Ahrefs. And if you go into like their search on their channel, you can just like SEO WordPress, they have some great videos. And I'm sure they cover other ones too, if you're on Wix or Shopify. So listed on online directories. Unfortunately, not all directories are free, like the Chamber one would not be free. Some community ones might be free, but there are some opportunities for those online directories. So I do have, I utilize Yellow Pages NetSync. That's what it was called when I started with them, which was many years ago. But basically, they get me on 25 plus directories like Yelp and all those kind of things. It syncs all the same information with my Yellow Pages account. And I think at one point, at the time when I started, it was $75 a month to be listed on all these different directories. And when you calculate how much time it would take you to get on all those different directories, the $75 was well spent. Build backlinks. And so this can be a bit of a beast of, you know, you have to find other websites that are credible and trustworthy to Google. And then how do you build those backlinks? So one, for example, Little Local, she carries lots of different brands in her store. So she's trying to connect with those brands and say, hey, do you have an area on your website where you list where can you buy our stuff from, right? We see sometimes businesses will list like, where can you get this? And what stores our stuff is in, and trying to get listed that way, because that would be a backlink from that website to hers. So there's lots of different ways to build them depending on the business that you have. I find for a service-based business like me, it's a little bit more tricky. Yes, I have all the websites I created that backlink, but like really I'd want to look at possible guest blog posting, or when I do webinars, right? With other organizations that they, do a little bit of a write-up and they include my links, that kind of thing. Post to social media, use it. And one of my recent tips was that, because I actually have quite a few clients I've talked to over the years who are like, well, I hate when businesses post too much on Instagram, or they post consistently. So we don't post very much on our own Instagram. Yeah, but you're not your target market. So just because you don't like receiving email newsletters, or you don't like when businesses post too much or consistently on their social media, it doesn't mean your clients and your customers are like that, right? So always keep in mind, you're not your target market. So just because you don't prefer something, or you don't like something, or a certain avenue of marketing, doesn't mean you don't utilize it for your own business. Hope that makes sense. I will say to people like, oh, are you using email marketing? Well, I hate receiving emails like that, so I don't want to do it for my business. But it's an opportunity, and you're not marketing to yourself. Include hashtags. So hashtags are, really mainly on Instagram. Yes, you can use some hashtags on LinkedIn, but they won't be the same hashtags. You can use hashtags in Twitter, as hashtags is where Twitter is where hashtags, came from, but they're not the same hashtags. So the mass amount of hashtags that we use is on Instagram. I'm using hashtags on Facebook. It's not something us marketers do. It doesn't do the same. But if you do use hashtags on Instagram, it's not going to be the same hashtags on LinkedIn or Twitter. But hashtags on Instagram can really help grow your reach, especially for community-based businesses. So give it a try. I would say right now the magic number would be about 15, but have a good 30, and that way you can pick. So when I do a post, first I'll have a couple hashtags that have to do with the actual post. So let's say it's a testimonial. So I'll pick up some hashtags that have to do with client testimonials, reviews, and then I'll do some hashtags to do with my actual business, so marketing agency, web design agency, marketing tips, that kind of thing. And then I will actually include also some hashtags to do with my local area. So Brantford specific community hashtags. Email marketing. So I've talked about this a little bit already. Utilize it, grow your email list, get it integrated into everything you can. There are so many programs though. When people are like, well, which one should I choose? I'm like, it's never ending. Just like same with social media management tools, like for scheduling, there's so many options and all different budgets, and they're not all the same. Like you can't go with a checkbox a list with everything. But email marketing, there is a lot of tools out there. I mainly use MailChimp, but not the free version. I really do enjoy it. I've used Constant Contact for a client. I'm not a fan of it. So if you are using email marketing right now, throw in the chat which one you're using. There is so many out there, and no, I have not used them all. I think that's almost impossible. But I myself use MailChimp. Most of my clients use MailChimp because there is a really low cost with it to start out, where there's many other options, and some of them are not cheap. And if you're just starting out with your business, or just starting out with the email newsletter and marketing, it could be tough to go into one that has a high cost. But yes, I prefer MailChimp. It is great. Okay, and guest blog. So I could really try to find other organizations that I can partner with to say, hey, on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, can I guest blog? That's content for them, but it would then be a backlink to me. At the moment, I do not have time to guest blog in that sense, but it really would help SEO and backlinks. And then also just helping build up your label as an expert in your field. Engage online. So yes, we want people to follow us and like us and share. We've got to give a little bit of that back. And when we do post on our own social media for our clients, it's not a post and walk away. You got to keep an eye on it as people comment, either acknowledge it, like or comment, but don't just post and walk away. We do need to spend some time engaging with other accounts. We got to give a little also to get a little back. And then use Google Analytics. Google Analytics is free, and it connects to your website, and it allows you to see your website traffic and where it's coming from. So for me, if I'm only focusing on Brantford for clients, and I go into my Google Analytics and I see I have a whole bunch of people, say from Vancouver, what's going on? maybe my SEO needs to be updated, or maybe some of my listings need to be updated. It could be a thing of, it could help you figure out if things need to be fixed, but also might be opportunities. So for with Little Local, we did, I did reports for her for August, because we did all of her marketing, and her main city of people coming to her site are Toronto. So we're now going, is that an opportunity? So it could be an opportunity when you see the stats, or it could be, oh, some things need to be fixed because this is not actually what we're trying to do. And then we have paid ways to drive website traffic. When we have marketing clients, I always try to let's utilize what you currently have in place before we go into putting money into ads, because it can be a lot of money. And as let's say your website isn't mobile friendly, or it is outdated, it needs to be redone or updated, and now you're spending money on sending people there, and now you're going to have quite a bit of traffic, but it's just going to make the problem worse. So always make sure that when you are doing paid ads, say it's Google or social media, that your website is top notch, it's cross-browser friendly, mobile friendly, it looks great, there's a flow to it. What is your goal? So if your goal is for someone to fill out a form, that the website flows into that form, and there's buttons and stuff to get people, you funneling people into that form, because once you start doing ads, you're now going to push people there. And if there's issues, it will only make those issues worse. So that's the first step. But there's Google search advertising, Google Maps advertising, display advertising, there's retargeting ads. All of those are with Google. And then we got our social media advertising. But Google ads and social media ads are different. And I did a webinar on this previous, trying to remember where, it was BRC. So people are like, okay, I need to do ads. I got a business, we have a website, I need to do ads. Okay, well, what's the goal? Well, we need to still get our name out there. We're still building our brand awareness. That's not Google ads. Google ads is for conversions, getting sales, or getting people to fill out that form and turning into a client. It's not to build brand awareness. Social media ads are great for building awareness. And so I always have to have a chat with people of, well, what is the goal with the ads? Where are you at with your business? And what's the purpose? Because it will then dictate whether they're going to be Google ads or social media ads. And retargeting ads are fantastic, and we've seen them. So retargeting ads are like, okay, I'm going to go to a store online and just, look at some stuff. And then I go about my day. I maybe go back on my computer later. Maybe I'm on some other websites, and now I'm seeing ads for that business I was on, but didn't complete a conversion. So I didn't order, I didn't purchase, I didn't sign up, I didn't fill out a form, a lead generation form. And now I see that ad on other people's websites. I think we've all seen those. Those are retargeting ads, and they are definitely underutilized because we spend a lot of time getting cold traffic when we could be retargeting the traffic that already knows about us, that have already been to our site, that there's a better chance they're going to close that conversion. But with Google, you do need a certain number of views every month in order to qualify for that. But it's definitely underutilized, and we spend so much more of our time trying to attract cold traffic than traffic who already knows about us. Hopefully that makes sense. 34% of consumers are more likely to make an unplanned purchase after receiving personalized content. And when we say personalized content, that can relate to your email newsletter, and trying to make it as personalized as possible that you're writing to them. So we'll sometimes see newsletters where even in the subject line, it'll be like, hey, Samantha, check this out, or whatever that subject is, but it has my name in it. And then I go into the newsletter, and sometimes they're written like it's an email. You can almost not tell it's a newsletter. We're like, hey, Samantha, and it plugs in my name or whoever's receiving it. And so the more personalized the content we're sending to someone, the more they feel like I'm talking to them. I wrote this just for them. It wasn't a mass email kind of thing. And so the more that we can personalize our content when we are sending, especially email newsletters out, possibly the better success rate you'll have with those. So here's some steps of how to also drive traffic. So be a voice of authority. To get people excited about coming to your site, you need to set yourself up as a voice of authority. Your business probably isn't the only one of its kind. We all have competitors. Since you've got competitors, let your visitors know that you know more than the other guys. You can do this by creating useful content that your visitors actually want to consume. And so my voice of authority and what I'm doing in my business is these webinars. I'm doing webinars with other organizations, being a guest speaker. I teach at colleges, but I have to show that off. I have to actually tell people about it, or else it doesn't do anything when it comes to trying to build up my voice of authority. I also use my blog to talk about tips and stuff like that to help with it. So there's a lot of different things you can do to help build up the voice of authority: webinars, workshops, blogging, to really show that you are credible and you know what you're doing and why you are the best person for that industry or for that job or for that service. Oh, here I go. So here are a few ideas. So you can create blog posts, ebooks, industry guides, answer questions on social media. So in Guelph, Tim Campbell Smith, he's also did a webinar with the BRC. He does a lot of those, like ask me any questions. He does like a daily pro tip. It really builds up his voice of authority. And I follow him, and he knows his stuff. And by doing things like webinars and blog posts and ebooks and answering questions, we actually have to really know our stuff or we're going to get caught, right? And so, but that can really help build up the credibility. Host a webinar like I'm doing, produce educational videos, and go live on social media and stream important events. So he's a great example of how he uses his social media to build him up. So people want to book him for guest speaking, want to book him for a webinar, want to book him for a workshop, because that's one of the things that he really focuses on with his business, is that part of, the guest speaking and the engagements and stuff. So for me, like I could do more answer questions on social media. I do the blog posts. I have my own course. So that's another thing too, is building your own course or mini courses or membership area to help give that information out. Develop partnerships. Get a great way to attract traffic to your website is through partnerships. Many small businesses make strategic partnerships, but never foster them. You should take advantage of these connections by doing joint social media promotions, shared giveaways or sales, trading ads on each other's websites, and writing blog posts that highlight how you work together. Oh, sorry, my hair. Oh, so building partnerships. So for me, like I've built a partnership with the BRC. I've done more than 10 webinars with them. This summer, they had a summer company grant program for students where they could receive up to $3,000 to start a business. And so they asked me to come in and talk to these students, because I started my business again too. And so having those partnerships helps both people. And that's what a partnership is. It has to help both people on each end, that you get something from it in a way. And that doesn't always mean sales, doesn't always mean customers, but having a partnership where you both have the same goal and that you're both benefiting from it, but foster those relationships. Support a cause. Humanize your brand a little. Let your customers know you care, and they might show a little love back. For example, choose a cause or a nonprofit that aligns with your business values and support it. Your customers will see that you're more than just a money-making machine. So show off your community involvement. Sometimes on social media, that's the post that will get the most likes and engagement. For example, a little local, she was at their local tractor truck and pull. She had a little booth there. And so she did like a little post about it. It went through the roof. And so sometimes your community type posts, or your, talking about how you're involved in the community or a cause, how you give back, sometimes those get the most engagements and most likes and most shares, even though we're not really directly promoting our business in that time, but it really does show that you're more than just about sales or clients or money, but no one's going to share it for you. So you have to toot your horn and you have to show it off in a professional way. And then we get our PPC advertising, so pay per click, which can be on social media and also on Google. And so there's a lot of different ways, as you see in the image, how you can utilize it, how you can use it in your business. So PPC lets you place ads online in places where your target market is most likely to see them, whether that's in a Google search results, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, or on any other website that allows for paid advertising. So one would be the display network with Google. PPC advertising is the fastest way to get traffic to your website off the bat. And you only pay when something is clicked. But once again, you have to have the website set up. You have to have it properly working before you push a whole bunch of people there. You have to be ready. And this doesn't always work for a business. Sometimes they need to utilize the free stuff first. I always say utilize the free stuff first, because eventually that will plateau. And then look at the paid ads next. So as you can see, there's a combination of things we have to do. Doesn't mean you have to do them all at once, because then it can be hard to track. And so my suggestion is always maybe pick 2 or 3 that you're going to try and do consistently, say for the next 3 months at minimum. And that way you can say, okay, these are the things we focused on. We did it for 3 months consistently, professionally, like it looked good. We put real time and effort into them, whether you do them yourself or you outsource them. And then that way you can look back on the stats from your social media, from your website, from the sales, all those things. You will have numbers that should show if it worked or not. So like for me, what things when I rely on email marketing, like I am trying to be very consistent on my email marketing. I do one a month, and I have for a good year now, because I also had co-op students, so it would be my way to give them work. And I could stay consistent on my social media. I really want to dive into my LinkedIn a bit more. And then right now I'm doing a lot of in-person things and going to chambers and stuff. But yeah, pick 2 or 3 and do it consistently for 3 months. And then that way you can see if it worked or not. But doing all of them at once, it'll be really hard to track, and it'll be way too much work. We don't have to do it all. As of January 2021, there were 4.66 billion active internet users worldwide. 59.5% of that global population. Of this total, 92.6% access the internet on mobile devices. So don't disregard the mobile. So Google Business Listing is great for mobile because it ties into the maps, right? Making sure that your website is mobile friendly. And then utilizing also your social media, because there's times I'll see in Facebook groups, especially local Facebook groups, where they're like, hey, I need a website. Who do you recommend? And sometimes like, oh, hey, I can help, or people refer me. I see all sorts of questions in our Facebook groups, even in my past communities, where I tell businesses like, join those Facebook groups, because at some point they will ask for a CPA or for a photographer, or hey, I need a logo. I see it for all types of businesses. And so being on those mobile things, because we're mostly using social media through a mobile, is really, you need it. I'm trying to get the word there. All right, so we have a couple minutes for questions. I hope you learned something. I hope maybe your next steps of what you need to do next, or what you are going to focus on for this quarter. Let's say it's going to we need to be consistent on our social media for the next 3 months. Let's just try 3 posts a week, or we're going to do a monthly webinar for this each month for next quarter, or we're going to do a monthly email newsletter. Like there's lots of different things you can implement. So I hope this helped. I hope it was beneficial, and possibly that now you have an idea of your next steps. If you have any questions, throw them in there. I will be here right till 1.